Yeah, hello everybody. Kevin J Johnston here. This is Amazing Dating Advice, episode 7, with my co-host, the lovely and amazing Melanie Switzer, Alberta's best country singer. She's gorgeous. She's brilliant. The woman is just fantastic all around. So if you guys out there want some advice from a gorgeous woman, you're at the right place and you're watching the right show. And as for all you ladies out there who wanted dating advice and or relationship advice and or more importantly, advice about men from, let's say, the 5th best looking man on the planet, again, you're at the right place. All right, look, I'm not fooling around here. Melanie, welcome back. Always a pleasure to see you. And for those who want to ask questions, bottom right corner, you see it right there? freedomreport.ca@gmail.com. We're checking the email box. If there's anything you'd like to ask either one of us, by all means, email me there. I'll send you the link to come into the show, and then you can come on in by video, audio, or both. Your call on that and ask away. I know we have a couple of folks that are going to be coming in more towards the 8 p.m. Mountain Time here to ask you, specifically you, a couple of questions.
Oh, all right. Look forward to that.
Well, you've turned a couple of heads. There's all kinds of guys saying, "Hey, man, that Melanie chick, she's kind of hot, man. Like, she's single. Put a good word in for me." You know, they're not. They know how to find you online. You've told everyone your social media addresses.
True.
So, guys, don't ask me. Go to the source. I mean, she'll probably shoot you down in flames, but give it a shot.
Oh, funny.
All right. So we got to cover something quickly here. Everyone remembers this idiot, right? Dylan Mulvaney, a failed actor who figured that he, not she, he could become popular by pretending to be a she, puts on the Ritz, is pretty good at doing the whole, the feminine acting nonsense, but has really insulted women huge and destroyed the brand at Bud Light there by swimming around in a bathtub full of bubbles and cracking a Bud beer with his face on it, dressed like a chick. And some left-wing nut chick thought that was going to be a really good way to communicate with hyper-masculine men, rednecks, in central and south central United States of America. Well, it bombed, and the company's short $5 billion. They're actually looking to sell off all the assets. So Mulvaney, Dylan, the guy, says, "Oh, men suck because they won't date me." So I said, "Tell you what, I'll marry your ass." All right, there you go. That's what I said. I'll marry you. I made a public announcement on this, and I'll let all my gay friends who are bigger and buffer than me with that much meat do the consummation for me. Right? We'll do consummation by proxy. Right? You want to be a woman? We'll put you to work as a woman. You'll cook, you'll clean, you'll vacuum, you'll everything. But I got to ask you this, Melanie. This guy has now been named Woman of the Year in some stupid woman's tabloid. But really, I mean, I think that's freaking insulting. I got to get your take on this. Go ahead.
It is 100% insulting to all biological women out there. Be yourself. That's fine. Do what you want to do. And excel at it, whatever that is. And, he's remarkable at eyeliner. So I got to give him some props for his makeup abilities and whatnot. Live your life like that if that's what pleases you. But for crying out loud, Woman of the Year, can we just leave that category to biological women?
Well, I thought so. I'd like to see biological women competing in women's sports as opposed to loser men who can't compete even with a guy like me at the semi-pro level. They just can't. So they put on wigs and lipstick and say they're a woman, and the left-wing tards out there are letting this happen. And it blows my mind how many women are applauding this. I mean, if you remember last year, or was it maybe earlier this year, this morbidly obese, fat loser guy who's, I think, a combination of Chinese and Inuit combination, says that he is a woman, and this fat pig wins the Miss America pageant, or at least the qualifier for Miss America. And all the girls, the real biological girls and women on the stage are going, "Oh, wow, this is great." What? Why would any woman think that's a good thing? I got to hear your take on this.
I have no words for that. I I can't even wrap my brain around why the wokeism is so embraced by some people. I don't get it because I don't support it. I mean, I'm not judgmental. Like I said, live your life, do it, whatever floats your boat, do that. But for crying out loud, I wish they'd just stop rubbing it in everyone's face on every media platform.
Okay,
Stop
well,
it.
I brought this up because it was a question that was asked of me, like an actually well-typed email to me on my thoughts on Dylan Mulvaney being named Woman of the Year. I'm
Mhm.
actually, I don't say this often. I'm disgusted by it. And I need all you left-wing women out there to understand that, the ladies that came before you fought long and hard, double entendre, to make sure you have the rights to not be infiltrated by men if you don't want to be. And here you are welcoming losers into every facet of your lives and taking everything away from you. Now, I mean, if you want that, by all means, but don't expect me to be happy about it. And by the way, Dylan, get back to me soon because we're actually thinking about putting together a lawsuit against you. You wanted a man to marry you? I said I'd marry your ass and let the other guys do stuff to it. I mean, I'll probably film it for clout. But yeah, you want to be a woman? We're going to make you one. You're not going to like it. I promise you that. All right. A video came out a couple of weeks ago, Melanie. It's this overweight black chick who's sitting in a guy's car, and she's like, that she wouldn't get out of the car. And she's filming it live on her social media on her first date, criticizing this guy who's about 23 years old, maybe, about the fact that he took her to Cheesecake Factory for dinner. Like, I ain't getting out of this car. No way, no man's taking me to Cheesecake Factory. She wouldn't get out of the car. It's not your car. She would not get out of the car. So shortly thereafter, yes, a lot of people were hypercritical of her, but then millions of women came out in support of it. And here is a list of all of the places that American women do not want to be taken to on a first date. Let's go through this, shall we? You're not going to like this, ladies and gentlemen. Cheesecake Factory, Applebee's, Chili's, Chipotle, Olive Garden, the movies, your house. That one I kind of agree with. Okay, unless you've got a hot tub and a pool. Any fast food chain. Okay, I agree with that one. Buffalo Wild Wings, Wingstop, Red Lobster. Are you kidding? That place ain't cheap. A buffet. Those aren't cheap. Buffets are not cheap, everybody. IHOP, Denny's, the gym. I don't know. I've had a couple of gym dates. Church. Well, I mean, if you're both religious, why not? Or maybe they meant to say church is chicken, but who knows? Starbucks or coffee dates. Let's talk about the coffee dates for a second, Mel. We men, we don't want to invest more than $5 anymore on dates because I'm going to be honest here. We men don't feel that it's worth it anymore. So coffee tends to be it. I even get upset when it's a coffee date and she orders a $7 frappuccino. Can you not have a $2 coffee and I'll determine if you're worth more than $2? Like, let me decide that.
Right. I actually think coffee dates are a great first date because especially if it's a cold date or someone you just sort of met online and haven't had much interaction with in person, you're not committed for a long time. How long is it going to take you to drink a coffee? 20, 30 minutes at the most. So, if it's terrible, that's a great amount of time to allot for a first date. And if it's great, then carry it on. But
usually on a first date with me is I say, look, I am only going to hold you to 10 minutes here. That's all I'm expecting. So put it on your clock. If after 10 minutes, you think I'm a loser, you think I'm boring, you think I'm creepy, just get up. Don't even say bye. Walk out the door. No hard feelings. I think your screen turned sideways there.
Oh, it did. Weird.
Oopsie. I didn't do it. All right.
What's going on there?
So that, like, the coffee date, I agree with you. It's actually a better way to chat because
what is going on?
There's neither party going to invest a great deal of dough in that.
Right. Yes.
And neither party should feel upset about a $2 coffee plus whatever the fuel cost was to get there. Right. And I think you froze. Oh no. Phone trouble. Let's go back to the list while you get that going. Ice cream dates. I don't know, ladies. I like ice cream more than I should. Yeah. Family functions. I absolutely agree with that one for a first date. We just lost Melanie there, but and throw it in the chat, folks, if you guys agree or disagree with this list. But I would never allow myself to be taken on a family event. I don't want to meet her family. It's to get to know her. And if she's worth it, then maybe after about the 5th to 10th, maybe even 20th date, that's when I'll meet her family. So yeah, I happen to agree with that one absolutely immensely. Ready. Movie night, I guess at your house, Netflix and so on. I don't want to watch movies on a first date, so I agree with that one. I'd rather talk. Somewhere that requires a long drive. Okay. I agree with that one as well, because if the date sucks, you'll find that out in the car and you're not even at the destination yet. If it's an hour drive to get there and you're not getting along and there's no chemistry in that time, sure, I agree with that. Bowling, I don't know what's wrong with bowling. Nightclubs, well, from the standpoint of you can't really talk. Oh, wait, Melanie's coming back in here, folks. Just a second. There she is. And Melanie's back. All right. So I don't know if you heard the last couple here. I agree with family functions. We're not going to go to family functions on a first date. Forget that.
I agree.
Movie night at your place. I agree with that too, because I don't want to watch a movie. I want to talk to the person. Someone that requires a long drive. I agree. The drive could suck, and then the date will suck too, and the drive back will suck more. Bowling, is bowling really that terrible?
I think it's all right.
Modern women, I guess, maybe don't like it. I don't know. Bowling's
yeah.
okay. I mean, I suck at bowling. I think my best game was probably 150, maybe. But it's still, it's a chance to talk for an hour.
Exactly.
Oh, and I'm an ass man, so it's a chance for me to see your ass from every angle imaginable, especially bent over, and I don't even have to do anything to get you to bend over. So not you, not you, because you're in the friend zone, but you get what I'm saying.
Well, now we know you're adding bowling to your date list.
I just thought that bowling's probably a good idea. And maybe let's go back to this one here on the gym. Number 15, the gym. We'll make it a squats day. How does that sound? All right. Moving on. Nightclubs, you can't really talk, so no. And if neither one of you knows how to dance, that could suck. A hookah bar? They're cool. There's a lot of hookah bars that actually have the vaping ones now. So you don't even have to light the shisha or the tobacco. But it's a chance to talk. You don't have to use the hookah. You can drink tea. Sure. Yeah. There's a lot of really good teas out there at the hookah bars. A bar just for drinks. Yeah, okay. Why not? But at the same time, I think coffee would be cheaper. Then, the Waffle House. I don't know. You ever been there? No. They have good chicken and waffles. Okay. They do. And finally, a sport event. A sporting event's about 3 to 3.5 hour commitment, plus parking time, plus walking in the building, plus getting out of the building, plus back in the car. So that makes your date automatically 6 hours. Yeah. Yeah, and I don't want a 6 hour date. I'm going to tell you the truth here.
Bit risky for a first date. Yeah. Yeah.
I agree with, but it's these ladies are being so critical out of all these restaurant choices.
Yeah.
And they all seem to think that they're really hot. This is a black girl thing, especially. It's like, no, I'm hot. He's going to take all of this beauty over here into that restaurant. I don't think so. I lived in Harlem. I saw this crap every single day. Black women are the ones that tend to overstate their beauty and value more than anyone else does. And I live in the States, mostly black regions, and I can tell you, they really do think they're hot. And I can tell most of you black ladies, if you're not 36, 24, 36, you're not hot. All right. And if the hair on your head is a wig, you're definitely not hot. And most of you, I know the secret. It's wigs. You wear wigs. And that's why I love that guy. I forget his name. He's a white dude, skinny white guy. He's really tall. And he walks around with a leaf blower, pretending to work for the city, blowing, leaves or dust off the sidewalk. And he'll go, whoops. And black chicks' wigs go flying. Now, normally I would say it's not a good idea to play pranks on people you don't know. But because I know I used to live with so many miserable black women around me all the time in Harlem, South Chicago, West Philadelphia, Biloxi, Denver. I think, you know what? That's great. If a black woman's angry at a white guy, that's awesome. That's a personal thing. That's all. Definitely a personal thing. So, any other thoughts? Any place you would not go on a first date?
Well, I would think not fast food, but when I say fast food, I guess I think a little different than the American women that made that list, because I would consider fast food to be like McDonald's or Burger King or A&W, not those places. Yeah, I would say not those places, and definitely not my house or their house on a first date.
Yeah, I wouldn't even dream of it, actually. That is,
Yeah.
my house, your house, her
Yeah.
house, whatever house, I would
Too
say no to
soon.
that. And I would
Yeah.
absolutely say no to the family function. I personally would not take a date to church, because everyone knows my stance on religion and spirituality. And the last thing I want to do is try to get to know somebody sitting in a booth listening to someone else talk for 2 hours. Not happening, period. I'm going to stick with coffee, ladies. We're in a different time in our history, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we are. It's no like chivalry. I hate that word because it's actually extremely inaccurate. Chivalry was a really horrible system of government. It had nothing to do with behavior, because a chivalrous knight would ride in on horseback into your village and rape whoever he wanted and take your money and leave, because he had to give it to his lord. Chivalry is not manners, good manners. It's horrible. So let's not say chivalry is dead. Let's just say that society's expectations have shifted. So taking a woman on a long, drawn-out dinner date is no longer feasible. The coffee date is something I'm doing because I can talk. If you're interesting, I can say, would you like to get out of here and go do something more interesting? Now, but I better have a suggestion. If I'm going to say that, I better have a thought in my head. And this is Calgary. And if the weather's good, there's a lot of places to walk. This is a grid town for walking around and whatnot. So that would be a suggestion I would make. Your thoughts?
No, that's a great suggestion. Yeah, I would say my top 2 first date ideas would be coffee, or maybe a couple of cocktails. But stick to a couple. Don't exceed that, because some people they have more than 2 drinks. They want all of the drinks, and that's a terrible idea on a first date. So
yeah, and I notice there's a lot of women in Alberta. They do a pretty good job of putting on a good show of being a little uptight, but then they have 2 or 3 drinks and they're totally loose, and weird stuff starts happening. Now I have a personal philosophy here, which has kept me out of trouble my entire adult life. I will not sleep with a woman who's drunk unless I've had consensual sex with her 12 previous times, both parties being sober. Because after the 12th time, it's established we're good. All right. So if you're a bit tipsy and whatnot, and we're both horny, go for it. But no, sober 12 times, I will not sleep with a woman who's drunk beyond that expectation and or rule. It's a rule of my life. But I did notice Alberta women, they're pretty interesting. They get a couple drinks in there, and all of a sudden it's like, let's do it. You're so hot. Let's do it. Like, I watched you have 2 drinks. Is this an act? Like, am I being put on here? Yeah, the answer is no. Sober up, then tell me when you're sober. Right.
yeah.
Yes. So here's one, folks. I had to show this one. This was sent over to me by Mike Martins from the podcast Mike in the Night. Check this image out. Theodora is 20 years old. She's on Tinder. Theodora, okay, she's fit, but not really. There's no muscles in the abs. She's thin because she's young. That's it. The metabolism is high. So this figure she has is not really earned. It's genetics. This face, If she was to pull her hair back, I think she'd look like a guy. All right. So this one here, I don't know. If you were familiar with the days of the week to judge a woman, the Saturday night nightclub chick, that's the ultimate chick. Like you're the Saturday night. And if you're the Monday morning hangover, the Sunday morning hangover, then you're the worst. This one here is about Wednesday late evening coming into Thursday morning. But she'd have to buy dinner. Okay. So she says she wants 6 foot, 7 figures, 8 inches. A man who's 6 feet tall, making over $1 million a year, and 8-inch schlonger. All right. Or she says, what? Keep going. Okay. So I would go, gone. because you're not my type. You're not attractive enough to be making that kind of a demand. And what she's asking for there is less than 1% of men in North America. So good luck, sweetheart. But that's when I found out about the rule of 6. And women in North America, especially, this is a thing, Melanie. 6 feet tall, 6-figure salary, 6 inches long.
I've heard that.
Yeah. And that is less than 8% of the population of men.
Wow. Okay.
Now, what would make the average woman who wants that think that above average guy or above average stats guy would want anything to do with you? Not you specifically, Melanie, but you in general, like, the public
Right.
out there I'm talking to. What are you bringing to the table to a guy like that? So your standards, ladies, are a little bit too high, considering that the odds are really good. You have nothing to offer. I mean, nothing to offer. You're up. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think her list is probably a little too unrealistic, or should I say unattainable, like you said. So, I wish her the best of luck. At least she's made a list, which is more than what most women have done. So, I give her some credit there. I suggest making a list because I think that you kind of manifest what you want by doing that. So it's the same as goal setting. So make a list, but make it attainable and somewhat realistic. I just learned this year too, the half plus 7 rule. Have you heard of that one?
Half plus 7.
Oh, you haven't heard of this? Yeah, I just learned that this year too. So I learned about the 6 plus 6 plus 6 and the half plus 7. That's a cougar thing.
Oh,
so you can that's as young as you should go as a cougar. Half your age plus 7 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So if you're 50, 32 is the youngest that you go?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I know cougars that go much younger than that.
I do too, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, in Burlington, Ontario, there was a cougar bar. I forget the name. I think it was called 54. That might have been the name of it. And they had cougar night. And literally all these horny dudes would show up, between 20 and 30. And there was a whole bunch of horny women all over them.
Wow.
But it was a different time. This is like 20 years ago I found out about this place. And back then, women in their 50s did not work out as heavily as women in their 50s do today. So they were not as attractive then as they are now. And this is an observation I've made a few times. And it's always women that scold me for it. Smarten up, man. I'm remembering when my mother was in her 40s, early 40s. All of the women on the street were overweight at that age. Like they had just all given up on feminine looks. They didn't think they had to exercise.
No makeup. Yeah, they were.
Yeah, I know. And they all had curlers in their hair at night. And I tell every woman the same thing. If you go to the hairstyle where you've got curlers in your hair and you've got this white afro, you've given up. That's it. Like you may as well just pack it in. Because that is not a hairstyle. That's laziness. That's like a guy walking around in ripped shirts and track pants everywhere he goes.
Yeah.
You go to a job interview like that, unshaven, you're not getting the job.
Yeah.
Now, but women in their 40s now, at least here in Alberta, really take care of themselves. So the women who are 40 now are gorgeous. The women who are 40 then weren't. And it was a no wonder that a lot of times my uncles would sleep in separate rooms from their wives because their wives were just not in any way attractive at all. And I get crapped on for this all the time. Kevin, as a man, you got to give women a break. You can't judge women because it's harder for women to lose weight. Blah, blah, blah. I say, yeah. And it's harder for a man these days to make 6 figures. And it's really difficult for a guy who's 5'6" to grow to 6 feet. And it's really difficult to a guy who's got, like a full solid inch here to grow to 8 inches for you. So let's be a bit realistic here. The double standard is not something that I'm going to let you get away with. So I will say my piece, whether you like it or not. And if you don't like it, well, change the channel. Bother somebody else. So we now then we'll talk a bit about this valuation of women. This comes up in my feeds all the time. Is really, young girls under 30 are still making demands that men make 6 figures, 500 grand a year, 800 grand a year. The engagement ring has to be 200,000, 400,000, and so on. The only ones who have realistic numbers are the ones in their mid-30s who realize, uh-oh, biological clock really ticking. I'll take a $500 ring and a guy with a $40,000 per year salary. That they start to realize once they get past the precipice of 30. Now I got to get your take on this. Like what's going on here?
Yeah, I see it too, firsthand. There are some women, I think they just really have this fairy tale concept of this leisurely lifestyle where, what did they call them back in the day? Yuppies? When you basically had staff, you just live in the good life. I think they called them yuppies. That was
Yeah,
when I.
yuppies. They would have the big poofy hair for the guys. They the turquoise
Yeah,
shirt, the white jacket, yeah, the
yeah, and
Porsche.
the girls just wanted to like float along and stay at home, maybe make kids, maybe but yet they want to stay at home, but they don't want to do all the housework. They want a maid too. There's so much of that. And yeah, I even had a girlfriend that was the same thing. She stayed at home mom and had a nanny. I'm like, what? Yeah, crazy.
Well,
So it is a stigma, I think. And I mean, if you can make that happen, great. But I
yeah.
think that I think
Let's just be
quality
honest. Okay,
people.
if you can make
Oh,
it happen, great. Let's be honest here, ladies. You're living in fantasy land. It's not going to happen.
yeah, yeah, and you're
Period.
probably letting some really quality men slip through the cracks because they're not adding up to your crazy checklist. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's another video I saw. Girl was about 25 years old, really obnoxious. She was saying that whenever you are dating a guy, you should be dating 3 or 4 more guys, and that way they'll fight for you because men
Mhm.
will fight for you. Blah blah blah. And I stopped the video and I made a video of myself saying, "The hell we will, the hell we will." Are you
Yeah.
kidding me? As I said in the last couple of shows here, ladies, you're competing with video games and Hulu and Netflix and cell phones. You're competing with virtual reality now. I don't know if you've seen this, Melanie. This thing costs $55,000. It's a treadmill that you can run any direction. So
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I'm serious. It's got railings at waist height. You put on the visor, which is now wireless. You've got the guns in your hand. You can see your own hands with this virtual reality kit on, and you can run any direction in this virtual world. So you're competing with that. And let's talk about the Japanese for a minute here. Japanese women are competing with dolls and artificial intelligent virtual girlfriends. And these Japanese guys are actually going to these places where they've got these unidirectional or multi-directional, treadmills, and they're going on walking dates with virtual girlfriends. And Japanese women are like North American women. Why the men don't like me? Where the men go?
Mhm.
I'm serious. So
Yeah.
you women out there, you're competing with technology. And men, Melanie, we
Mhm.
love our toys. Jordan Peterson said it.
Mhm.
Men are more interested in things. Women are
Yeah.
more interested in people. And if I had to say, do I get my dream woman or my dream car? The 74 Barracuda. Sorry, ladies. I'm taking the car. Because I'll find not necessarily my dream woman with it, but I'll find a whole lot of women who are close, right, with the car. And I don't think women understand that they are competing with all of that. And
Yeah. Yeah. Probably
also
not.
compete. Well, yeah, but Melanie, they're also competing with men who are fed up with the entire system. Like family court needs to be dissolved. Men are fed up with losing their kids and losing half their house and half their wealth and paying alimony. And then you've got guys like, what's his name there? Dick Masterson. He came out and said alimony is like paying a prostitute. You're actually paying the whore to leave. Now, he wasn't popular for saying that, but that's how
Mhm.
men are beginning to see it. So you're also competing with that. A whole swath of the population of men are jaded because
Yeah.
modern women have become narcissistic and they just want too much from us. But you probably have a take on this. Go ahead.
Right. Well, I think that you're being a little bit judgy, because it does take two,
Yes,
and
it
I
does.
can see the need sometimes for a little bit of extra support. Say that the woman has put in her time, raised the kids, stayed at home, uh, worked for the husband in many capacities, and then he ditches her, moves on to say a younger model. Yeah, I think he should pay her a little spousal support because she's literally just been thrust into this new life unwantingly and unexpectedly. So, I don't necessarily think that some of that is a bad thing if you've accumulated things together. So, I mean, we'll disagree on the whole like spousal support and 50% of assets and whatnot because yeah, I have a different
Okay.
a different
Well,
take.
here, and I'm going to clarify that. You guys buy a house together and you pay for it together and you run it together, split the house and go. All right.
Yes,
But I
okay.
mean,
Yeah.
let's just say you bought a house for $20,000 in the States because you can do that 10 years ago. And now the house is worth 200,000. So the two of you are going to walk away with the splitting of $180,000 in profit, 90K each. And if you're going to stay in a town like that, well, $90,000 is rent for 30 years. How are you not happy with that? How are both parties not able to take that amount and rebuild?
Yeah.
They can
Yeah.
rebuild.
Yeah.
But why should she get half and then he's got to give her a salary as well? With the way salaries are these days, I mean, if you're only making $3,000 a month, and that's a high for most places, and you got to part with 33 to 50% of that, how are you going to live? I mean, the woman will be able to rebuild her life, so she'll get herself a new man who pays her way, and the old man is paying her way. So the old guy, and this is where men get really pissed off. I would never give a woman a dime who now has a new man. That's his job. She's his problem now. I'm not giving you a penny. And I would renege. If I was court ordered to do so, I would renege. Now, I'm a decent enough guy to pay the alimony. I would do it for a year. I would say, there you go. You got a year to get your shit together. Not together yet? That's on you. That's not on me. Because I'll make sure in that year I get my act together. All right. So can we all maybe just be a little bit stronger and take care of our own issues and our own selves a bit more than we have as society? Just a question.
Right. And the other thing I wanted to kind of counter was the fact that men aren't the only ones who are bitter and slightly jaded because women have, women have the same issue on a different on a matter of different topics, I'm sure. But
yes, well, I know what the topic is. Women are jaded because they're expecting men to think like women. He's not sensitive to my emotional side. He doesn't get my feelings. He doesn't validate my feelings. Well, we're men. We don't give a shit about your feelings if your feelings are going to impede our lives and impede our day and our task list and our earning capacity. Your feelings mean jack.
I think it's cute that you think you know what women are jaded about.
Well, why don't you enlighten me?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
this is what I hear the most. This is what women say. Okay. They say it. Go ahead.
Women. Okay. What women typically want is for men to not quit being sensitive to their emotional needs or the little things that a lot of men do this at the beginning. Men court women at the beginning and eventually they just stop. They get lazy and that's an issue.
Do you mind if I maybe enlighten you as to why that is?
I'm sure you're going to. Yes.
Of course I will. Yeah, no, it's my show. Okay. So, all right. To listen to a woman's emotional needs and to address them as often as we need to, our brains aren't built for it. We can't do it. It's exhausting. It really is. And we don't mean it to be that. And I don't want it to come across that you're a burden, but it is tiring to go through it because with men, if two guys have some type of an issue with each other, it'll be an argument, a shoving match, a brief tussle on the floor. They're friends. 15 minutes later, everything's back to normal. We're good, and so on. But with a woman's emotional state, it could start at 8 a.m. and it could be 700 texts during the day about how terrible I am or terrible he is. You're not sensitive to this. I hate that thing you said. Why were you looking at that other girl? This stupid crap that we don't even know what you're talking about. And then we got to deal with all that when we get home after an 8, 12, 14-hour day at work. So it's not that we don't like you. It's not that we don't love you. It's not that we don't want to see you happy, but we can't handle it. It's too much work. It's easier. The example that I always give about having climbed a radio tower in about an hour and a half, dragging 300-foot tall tower, dragging 70 pounds of tools up that thing and being strapped in for a day. I'd rather do that than listen to a woman complain. I'd rather do that every day. And that's not even a joke. It's draining.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard
Okay.
to do.
Yeah, and I get that, but it's also hard as a woman to invest as much as we do emotionally sometimes and basically get nothing back. So yeah, it's that's why marriages don't last anymore. People just don't want to do the work. So just don't be an insensitive prick, I guess, is the
Okay.
bottom line. Yeah.
Okay. But your man should still know what the hell you're talking about. And that's
Well,
something that
yeah.
we don't know. You're upset.
And
We know
it-
you're upset. That's obvious.
it-
Why?
Yeah. So yeah, women
Yeah.
need to get better at communicating. Yeah.
Why? Just tell us why. Oh, but in plain English.
Yes.
That helps too. Without the drama, that helps
Yes.
too.
Yes.
That really helps. The drama.
It does help. Yes.
Yeah. And I'll tell
Yeah.
you why. And this is, again, we're not insulting women here, people. We're just talking about the differences here. Is as men, an argument or a disagreement or a disobedience is viewed as the height of disrespect. And when a man feels disrespected, his love for you fades for a short period of time. And if he feels disrespected, let's say 3 or 4 days in a row, he would be happy to watch you walk out the door and think, oh, thank God. So you got to weigh out what's the complaint worth to you and what do you think you're going to gain? Because the average man and the intelligent man out there will tell you that you're going to gain nothing by complaining, but you will by talking.
Now,
You can sit down and have a talk. Yeah, if we get it, you'll get what you want. Go ahead.
I just need to interject there because you said what was it? Oh, I was trying to remember exactly what you said. Basically, my counter would be that we need you guys to, like you were saying, women need to zip it or whatever and do certain things. Well, men need to just pay a little more attention because you guys can tell when we're off. So if it's important, like you kind of know that by your reaction, you could make things worse or better too. So I think we all just need to step up and do a better job.
Nothing wrong with what you just said. I'm illustrating a point with the male brain, how it works. Guy says, I can see something's wrong. What's wrong? Want to talk about it? Nothing. Oh, okay. Well, nothing's wrong. Good. Video games. Right? Like steak. Oh, there's ice cream. Yeah. If you say there's nothing wrong, then there's nothing wrong. That's the male brain. If there's something wrong,
but if she says this and this, then you don't like that either, right?
Yeah, but if it's in plain English, but if it's in English or whatever language the household speaks, you'll have the guy's attention. I will sit and listen to anything you want to say, unless it's presented like this. You have no idea when the day was, and my mother called. What? Really? I'm out of here. What the freaking hell is that? And any man is going to leave the room and think, oh, geez, I got to climb that 300-foot tower. I can't do this. Right? So, and I'm not insulting you ladies out there. I'm just telling you, it's dating advice. It's relationship advice. The advice is you can't talk to men like that. Don't do it because you're going to lose him for that specific amount of time. And Melanie, you may actually have a very valid point to bring up during that emotional outburst. But the emotional outburst should be reserved for your female friends. And then when they listen to it and you've all had a good cry together, then bring the information to your man because he'll listen. Just a suggestion. You feel free to tell me to go F myself at your leisure.
No, I can actually see where that's beneficial because women often react impulsively on emotions. And so, maybe we should take that to the girls first and get that out of our system. And then we could come back and talk about it more calmly. That's actually not a bad idea.
Yes. Oh, and as for the men out there, I got to scold you now because in some cases, when your woman has a couple of friends, listen, guys, they're going to be talking about how small your dick is. That's just going to happen. And you probably come too fast. That's going to happen. And you're probably not sensitive and you're a maniac and so on. when your woman gets together with her female friends, that's what they do. They're just going to have this massive session and probably cry together. I've seen this. I've seen a room full of women crying, and I'm out. Nope. But she comes back happier and probably forgot everything she said. So just accept the fact that some of her friends are going to believe that you're only this big, because she needs that. She needs to expel that nonsense. So guys, don't take offense to it. It's ridiculous. But getting back to what I was saying about men feeling disrespected, I had to play this video. I'm going to toss this up right now. Oh, wait, there we go. Alrighty. This is actually very, very cool.
Men, I am so fucking sorry for how undervalued, overlooked, and underappreciated you have been. Society misunderstands you, and at times, us women have been really tough on you. I'm sorry that you've been called insensitive when you've just expressed frustration when someone isn't applying feedback. That you were labeled misogynistic when you politely disagreed with a government agenda, which you had every right to disagree with. I'm sorry that nobody says thank you for the work you do in our communities that keeps our lights on, our houses warm, and food in our fridges. I know that some of you drive hundreds of thousands of miles to provide for your families and also make deliveries across this country. And instead of appreciating you, short-sighted reporters plaster headlines all over the news that paint you and your gender as the modern-day villain of society. At the most basic level, I'm sorry that it took this long for you to even hear this from someone. We act as if your stoicism removes you from feeling anything other than turned on or pissed off, which everyone seems to love using against you anyways, only to feed the further disconnection and divide. When the reality is that we bleed the same blood and we cry the same tears. So yeah, I love you.
There we go. Now, how many men out there have ever been spoken to like that? I appreciate you. I'm sorry society craps all over you. I'm sorry that maybe I have not recognized your efforts a little bit better than I have. We don't hear that as men. And one of the things I do tell all men out there is, guys, we have to suck this up. Right? Society does not give a crap about men at all unless we can prove that we're worth it. So put the tears aside, go to the gym, run, learn some stuff, be proud, be bold, stand up for yourself, and don't put up with anyone's crap, including your own woman's crap, because we're going to get crapped on by everyone. I want to get your thoughts on that video, though. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think that's something that women should be doing for their men is letting him know his accolades, and even something as simple as saying, you know, you probably don't hear this enough, but I respect you and appreciate you, something like that. But I think on the flip side of that, women need to hear a little more too. So I think we both need to step it up. Both men and women need to step it up. And it's the whole fill your bucket thing, right? So if you haven't said something kind to your partner that day, then smarten up.
Okay, so I'll throw this at you. Now we're men. This is men telling women the reality of life. If your man is walking up to you when you're doing something like dishes or whatnot, and he starts dry humping you, or he grabs 2 handfuls of ass, you know what that means? You're hot. You're sexy. He's still attracted to you. He wants you. All right. That is love as far as he is concerned. You know how many times I've been involved with women, and you as men, we pull that stunt a few months down the road or a year down the road or wherever else, and we get pushed away. Stop it. Always. Yeah. Like, yeah, okay. You can take that stance.
Let me tell you what might be happening. It might be a love language thing. If her love language is physical touch, then I think that will always work. But if her love language is words of affirmation or gifts or acts of service, then grabbing her butt's not really going to resonate with her the same way. If she's doing dishes and you say, you know what, go have a coffee, I'll take over, and her love language is acts of service, that's going to say I love you more than a butt grab. So
I have never once, I'm 52 now, I've never once had a woman be mature enough to say, this is my love language, I like this, do this. I mean, not once.
Wow.
Yeah, Mel, wouldn't lie to you on this, man. I have never had that level of communication offered to me once. I've always been told how horrible I am because I don't get it. I can't read her mind. I haven't figured it out yet. Blah, 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 blah. I've heard all that crap. That is not going to bring me closer to you. That's going to make me say, you know what? I'm going to call some buddies of mine There's probably a hockey game I can watch with the guys, or maybe someone rented the ice tonight. This was a thing in Mississauga. Like when I was up to age 25, I always had my hockey gear in the car because every single arena had ice rentals. You could just get in there with some guys you didn't know, drop $5 and play hockey. So, and believe me, hockey or whatever the guy likes to do, he's going straight to that the second that you're telling him he's wrong or bad or whatever else. So I would love to know what the love language is of every single lover I've ever had. Why don't they use language and just tell us?
Unfortunately, I think there's still so many people who don't even know what that is. So they don't even understand themselves why certain things make them feel not adequately loved. I feel like we need to grow and educate ourselves more and then communicate better, in my opinion.
Oh, well, I agree fully. And I'm not going to say that's an opinion. I can say it's fact. All right. Quit bitching and just use your words. Use your big girl words. Use your big boy words. Adults. Yeah. Because I'm actually aghast at how unadult adult life is. The older I get, the more petty everyone around me seems to become. I'm just scratching my head thinking, holy crap, how did this happen? I always thought that the adult world was going to be one that was free of this crap. It's worse. It's worse than high school, not better.
Yeah, it is.
All right. So ladies, I'm going to give you some help here. Because men are very simple creatures. Aside from the bedroom, I'll give you some advice here. Okay. Because the bedroom's easy. You want to make a guy happy, put things in your mouth. Everything will be great for a short while. But how about this one? I was actually having this conversation with a few of my buddies today. And, men are not always pigs with other men. Like we really do talk about life. And the one thing that came up is, guys, there's a couple of men I know who've been married for over 25 years. And whenever the guy has had some rotten things happen to him, or he's down his luck, or just, not feeling up to it, they're involved with women who will make them their favorite meal and just sit and eat it with them. I don't think a woman knows the power of putting a man's favorite meal in front of him, but then you join him. Just like if he's here, you sit like on the angle, right beside. Make sure your knee is touching his knee or something like that. Just sit with him and have his favorite meal. You don't even have to talk. Just sit with him. It's simple. But again, this is not something that's ever been done for me in all of that time. Even though it's something that I would have adored and wanted and would have worked, it's never been done. I'm not complaining because we're men. I don't have that luxury. I have to love me more than I would expect anyone else to do so. And unfortunately, guys, if you're watching this, that is how you're going to have to address it. But you ladies out there, if you'd like more success with your man, there's one idea. Melanie, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And I've done that for men. I think it may seem a little bit traditional, but really, like, look how messed up society's gotten. I think that the very least, going back to something traditional is probably not a bad idea. So cook them a meal, do something like that. That's as inexpensive and as endearing as it gets to me. That's something you put time and effort into, and I think that he would notice that.
The odds are good. Yeah, like as men, the odds are good. If he likes your cooking, he's going to say, "This is awesome," right? He'll tell you, "This is great," and he'll probably ask you a couple of weeks later, saying, "Remember that palachinka dish you made, or that goulash you made, or whatever it is you made? Can you make that again?" And he'll tell you, like, "That's my favorite." Oopsie, we lost her. That's my favorite thing. So if your man is actually telling you what he loves about your cooking, or let's say your dad owns a restaurant and you grab his favorite dish from that restaurant, whatever the dish is, he will tell you what he likes. And when he tells you what he likes, do it every so often. But you can't just throw a food in front of your man and leave the room. You got to sit with him. Just do it. Sit with him. All right. Another thing that we talked about today, and I won't be popular for this one, but it's all right, is the return to John Wayne, the return to Ronald Reagan on the big screen. Melanie, let's be honest here. Women in our modern society, they're crazy and they're narcissistic and they're self-centered. They're self-righteous. There's other phrases out there like, There's a good one I actually used today. I forget what word I used, but it's very descriptive of it. This is not saying women are bad. Our society, we've cultivated this. It's our fault as a society for the last 4 decades for allowing Hollywood to lie to men and tell them they're scum and women are smart and men are stupid. Like, we've got those stupid tropes. Whenever a woman in a movie or a TV show goes away, the father has the kids. The house is a mess. The diapers are full. He's unshaven. His shirt's ripped. That's what we're saying. Men, you're useless. Women, you're the best. You can be a mother and a career woman and be the best at everything. So we've spoiled women and lied to them about their value. And we've also said that we don't need men anymore. Like, how many times have you seen interviews where women are saying we don't need men? Well, considering the fact that 83% of infrastructure is run by men worldwide, yeah, you absolutely do. You're not getting lipstick, makeup, and tampons without men. It's just how it is. So we men need to start speaking up for ourselves, defending ourselves from this, and putting women in their place when they become disrespectful. And I mean, like, the height of disrespect, demeaning, rude, vulgar, crass, insulting, and then when they're hitting us, and I've been hit by every girlfriend. I don't hit back. I take it because I'm a man. Even my ex-wife, I pissed her off a few times with things I've said, and I had to endure until she exhausted herself. She's not going to hurt me. So I cover my neck, I cover my crotch, and I take it. And most men take it. We do. But we need to stop. Guys, you got to stand up for yourselves. It's okay to be masculine. You can be loving, caring, kind, and masculine and stop that behavior without violence. It is entirely possible. But Melanie, I don't think you agree with me. So let's hear your take.
Well, I know there are some women out there who are narcissistic, as you described. Some of them are demanding, narcissistic, unreasonable, but not all, because I also know some women who are wonderful and who they've had their own shitty hand dealt to them in relationships with men that just won't try, or men that are narcissistic. So I think when you say that, you should probably say a certain percentage of women.
I would never say all. So my statement is not a blanket statement. All right.
Okay, good.
And I think everyone who knows me over the last 6 years knows that I don't make blanket statements to encompass all of humanity or all of one particular group. But I'm also not someone who's pathetic and comes out and says, but some of my best friends are women. Some of my friends are black. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say that on the average now, especially with the 2 generations behind you and I, narcissism is encouraged. Vile behavior is encouraged. Emasculation of men is encouraged.
I would agree.
And men need to watch John Wayne movies and watch Ronald Reagan movies from the 40s and 50s and get a sense of how it is that these guys, without violence, would deal with women who are disrespectful. Clever language, standing your ground. Sometimes you're standing your ground and not saying a word and turning around and walking away, not engaging in the emotional explosion that she wants you to have. I don't know why you ladies want that. You claim you hate yelling, but you push us to yelling. I don't get it. But as men, you can't do it. Turn around, walk away. Go ahead.
When you talk about the John Wayne days, I think there was less. I mean, obviously the feminist movement has done a lot of damage, irreversible damage to women in general. Now working on the 3rd generation of that. And the John Wayne movies, it's remarkable because they didn't have the same issues with women, but these men were masculine and kind of like tough and tender at the same time. And that's a turn on for some of us women still, to the tough and tender, the masculine thing, but still having that tender side that women like and that appeals to women.
I think what I'll do is I'll translate what you just said for the guys. All right, guys.
Good idea.
It's okay to be in a position where you know how to fight and that you are willing to fight to protect your lady. And you're smart enough to not fight when there's nothing to gain. That is what women are looking for, is the guy who can protect them, but is not an idiot and he's getting into bar fights all the time to prove he's tough, because that's not tough. That's actually a very weak guy mentally. But that same strong guy, what Melanie's saying, it's okay to be tender. You see your woman, you give her a rose, you give her a hug, you kiss her, you tell her how beautiful she is. If you have to, you pick her up and walk her over the threshold. Whatever you need to do, right? Be tender with your woman. Be an animal with the outside world. Nothing wrong with that. And I think, Melanie, that even the chicks under 30 who are pretending they don't like that would want that. If it was granted to them, I think they would love it.
How could you not love that?
But I guess you'd have to be a feminist, a hardcore feminist. I mean, once the hardcore feminist falls in love for the first time, I've noticed that they all kind of disappear from the radar. Like that crazy one in Toronto, her name was Big Red. She would just walk around Toronto screaming at men at the top of her lungs. And now she's married, living in Mexico with normal hair, and she's fit and doesn't yell anymore, and admits that she was wrong about screaming at men and being a feminist in the first place.
Wow.
Yeah. So she obviously, some guy rocked her world the right way, and she liked it. Yeah. She liked it very much. The next one here, and this one, I'm going to get heat for this. And again, I don't care, but here we go, guys. This is men and women. You should both be listening to this point. Building the patriarchy into your life around you. Men, got to know your place. Your job is to get that house bought and paid for, supply everything your family needs. You defend your woman, you defend your kids. You not only defend them physically, you defend their honor, and you defend your wife from your kids acting out, and you defend your kids from your wife's emotional explosions. You even defend your family from your own temper. These are things that men need to do. That's what a patriarchy would be. And then women need to support that man, make sure he knows he's appreciated, and do the tasks that's expected of her. Now, one of the pieces of advice that I gave to a friend of mine, this is about 10 years ago, his wife was just ripping him all of the time. And it was beginning to affect his relationship with himself, his parents. They were getting up in age, and even his daughter. She was 7. I said, all right, dude, listen up, man. I mean, if you want, I can tell your wife what I think of her. I'll probably have her in tears with what I'm going to say, because I'm really good with language. Or I can just tell you what you should do. And he said, yeah, I'll be here. Surprise your daughter. You got to pick a goal. Find something that you know that she wants. You make it a goal and you attack it. You beat the living shit out of that goal until it's done, and until somebody else that's not you acknowledges that goal is complete and it's very good. So he scratched his head for a bit and he says, hey, can you give me a hand building a treehouse for my daughter? Like, I can, but get an architect to design it. And he did. He went out, he actually paid $1,000. He got architectural drawings for it. And it was done in MicroStation software I had. So we made a couple of alterations to it. And over the course of 3 days, we built this thing in a tree. And his wife was, yap, yap, yap. You're going to kill the tree. The screws are bad for the tree. Yap, 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 yap. Why are you doing this? You're making noise. I want to have a quiet afternoon with a Long Island iced tea. Right. That's what she was like. I told him, ignore her. Keep the tools running. Keep hammering. Smile. Laugh at nothing. Pretend I just said something funny, and I'll pretend you said something funny. Let her know that her bullshit isn't welcome at all. And we got the thing done. And then she came. Oh God, this is great. She came over to me because we're almost done this project. And she starts going, well, hey, Kevin, what do you think? I mean, David here, he's not listening to me. I told him he's going to kill the tree. Yeah. Well, after I listened to her for about 4 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, would you like to know what my reply was? With a smile. That's all I did. I burped, I smiled, and I walked away. And then I said to him, dude, I think we kicked ass with this project, but it's not our house. You got to get your daughter out here now, right? So he brings her out, and she just goes storming over to it. Boom, the eyes lit up. She's like almost crying. She's so happy. Up the ladder. Daddy, come up, come up. And I said to him, dude, you did good. Right? Like, look at her. Look how happy she is. Get up that ladder. I'm leaving. This is your time. And I'm his wingman. So, I mean, these are the things that I said to him. And I had like 1,000 phone calls from the guy over the course of the year. Like, dude, how did you know? How did you know about this goal? My daughter loves it. My wife's not on my case anymore because my daughter's always talking positively. There you go. You found a goal. You attacked it. You beat it into submission. And that's what you have to do as men. And his wife was a horrible person. And I'll say that, she knows who she is. But eventually, because the daughter was so happy with the goal that he attained, his wife had no choice but to become more decent and put up with the fact that she actually had a good man. Now, I still don't like her. But the way she talked to him was really gross. But that's what I'm saying, guys. Find goals, attack them, beat them into submission, period. Gain the approval of those who actually matter to you. If you're involved with a woman and her opinion doesn't matter, well, maybe your kids do. Deal with them. I got to get your take on this. Go ahead.
Well, I think that's great advice to men. And she definitely was a different kind of woman, because I think that I would have had a much different reaction if your man's doing something for your kid, and you mutually, usually you want the kid to be happy. So I would have been a little more supportive and cheered that whole project on. But yeah, I think setting the goal and attacking it and trying to find those connections within your home to keep it peaceful and stable is maybe not the easiest thing, but it's important.
Yeah. We have a couple of gentlemen joining us here in a second. Looks like we got some questions coming up shortly. But gentlemen, if you could just sit tight for a few minutes here, there's a couple more things I've got to get through, and then I'm pretty sure you're going to have questions about what we're covering here. I got to tell this story because I think every guy's got a story like this. And we talked about when your man makes a decision, you have to trust him. You got to just back off, because as men, we don't think emotionally on things. It's logical. And typically something simple like buying a couch. If you're saying you want couch, you know what the guy's done? He's got either the laser measuring device, or he's got the measuring tape. He's got everything measured out. He's writing it all down. He knows exactly what kind of couch is going to fit there. He can actually envision 25 different types of couch that'll fit that spot. So if he's got the measurements done and he says to you, couch can be no more than 8 foot by 3 foot, and you go and buy something stupid like a 10-foot sectional, well, you've wasted money. You've pissed him off. You didn't listen. And you've insulted his integrity. You've insulted his masculinity. So here's one I got for you. Now, Melanie, I told you this story and you thought I was an asshole, and that's okay. You're allowed to. I still love you. But the last girlfriend I lived with before I got married, so we're talking 23 somewhat years ago, the shower curtain, we just moved into this place and the shower curtain had mold. So I ripped it down, threw it away, cleaned the bathroom. I mean, I did it with bleach. I used to be a porter in a hospital, so cleaning is something I can do well. And I said to her, here's $30. Please go get a shower curtain. Get a heavy one that the laws of physics won't move around when I'm in the shower. All right. And I explained how when you turn on hot water, the air pressure changes in the bathroom. The cold air will push towards the warm air and vice versa, and the shower curtain moves in towards the person in the tub if it's thin and light. What does she do? She buys the thinnest piece of crap you could possibly buy. I said to her, you ignored me. This is going to come in. It's going to stick to my skin. I'm going to get pissed off. Every time I get in the shower and this happens, I'm going to hate you more and love you less. Can you please go get a proper curtain? Nope. She had to be right. And what happened? I'm in the shower every day for a week. And the curtain would just come and stick to my ass or stick to my back or stick to my arms. And I'm pushing it and I'm angry. So I weighed it down. I went outside, got a rock, weighed it down. What happens? They get offended that there's a rock in the tub holding it down. So the rock is gone, and here we go again. And as a man, there's only so far that things can push us, especially when we called it in advance. And men call things because we've got experience with them. So I just ripped the whole thing down, broke the pole, threw it out, and there was water all over the place. And for 3 days in a row, I showered with no curtain. And I kept handing her the mop. Here you go. You can deal with this. Or, give me my $30 back and I'll buy a real curtain. Now, you said to me when I told you this story, It's a dick move. You called me a dick, which is fine. You know? But you go ahead and clarify your thoughts on this thing I've just said to you, and then I'm going to clarify it for you further. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I think you kind of were a little when you originally you kind of elaborated the story this time a little bit more, so I've got a little more clarity on the whole story. But earlier it was kind of like, "Do your job, woman, or you're done." Kind of that's the impression I was getting earlier. It's gonna skid you.
Well, I'm not
So,
going to throw you out of the house for a shower curtain, but
and I
but
get the whole that men are overthinkers. However, women like to do the decorating, and so when it comes to things like that, I think there has to be a little bit of room for some compromise. I get
okay.
the functionality, but I think that leave her a little leeway and stress how important the functionality is, and then hopefully you guys
Okay.
can
So
find a
then
compromise that works for both.
I got to clarify now for women, men in the bathroom. All right.
Mhm.
Guy runs in the can, takes a shit, doesn't care about the floor, the wall, the sink, the color, the size of the taps, or the shower curtain. Don't care. All right. Because he wants the feces out of his system and out of his life, and he wants out of the bathroom as fast as possible. You ladies, you sit in the pot and do your thing. And you look at your decor and like, oh my goodness, I'm such a good decorator. I love my towels. Oh, this shower curtain's so beautiful. I'm so good. Oh, oh, excuse me. That's how you guys see it. It's bizarre, and that's okay. I
It's
wouldn't have
not
cared what
okay.
color the shower curtain was. Just get a
Okay, hang
curtain
on.
that weighs 1 pound or more so that I don't have this thing on my skin. It's respectful to have listened to me because I didn't want the headache that I've just illustrated to you now. So I saw it as disrespect and a personal attack.
Yeah,
That's how men see it. Your
and
take.
that's fair. Yes, that's fair. I'm just saying you should just we always got to leave a little room for some compromises. That's all.
Okay, so compromise is, ladies, if any of you out there are kindly enough to sleep with me, I'll tell you how it works. I don't give a crap what color the shower curtain is. All right. I just want to make sure it's heavy enough that the laws of physics dictate gravity takes over and not air pressure. Okay. Can we agree on that? Smurfette, flowers, butterflies, who gives a shit? Take it. It's your curtain or it's your color scheme, whatever you like. I promise you, I'm not in that shower for longer than 2 minutes anyway.
Lucky for you, a lot of them have little magnets now, and they stick right to the tub. So
I would have settled for that.
you should have been.
And I
Yeah, you
mentioned
should be
that,
good now.
and I was ignored. So there we go. The last thing I'm going to address here before we bring our two guys in that have some questions for probably you, Mel, because you're better looking than me, sort of, is the whole idea, guys. A lot of men out there, we're involved with a woman. We love her very much. We've got a wife, a girlfriend, whoever it might be. And for some reason, women will bring another woman in to their life, not as a sexual partner, but just a friend who is an excessively negative influence, who's constantly badgering her, saying, he's too short for you. You can do better, his hair's too gray, his chin's too small. You can do better. Right? You see any good in bed? Oh my God. So this negative crap just keeps coming up. Now, guys, if you know this is happening, you have got to do everything you can to dust this person as fast as possible. And I've done this, Melanie, where I don't give women ultimatums. I just tell them, that friend of yours is bad for you. She's not welcome near me, not in my car, not in my house. I find her in my house, I'm calling the cops, just so we're clear. Now, would you like to tell her, or would you like me to tell her? And this usually is a cause for a fight. Now, I don't know why it is that women don't want to choose their man over this new friend or this family member who's a busybody loser. Maybe you could tell us why that is, because I've got a bit more to add.
Well, if it's a new friend, yeah, I think you definitely should choose your man over the new friend. If it's a family member, that gets a little bit tricky, because some people stick with family thick and thin, and maybe life changes. I know I have some family members who used to be loving and supportive, and life has knocked them down, and they're kind of miserable and grumpy now in their older, wiser, less pleasant years. But so people do change, and it's still hard to kind of to skid them. But yeah, I guess if you value your relationship, I guess you really do have to consider whether that particular person is toxic and adding strain to your relationship, or if they're helping. So
Yes.
if they're hindering, then maybe, yeah, not such a good choice.
Okay, so guys, this is for the men now. The quickest way to get rid of one of those pain in the ass type friends and or family member that's interfering with your relationship with your woman, lawsuits, $1 million lawsuit. Put everything in there. Defamation of character. Oh yeah, there's tort for harassment, like just whatever it takes. And you tell them, hey, you can go get a lawyer for 50 grand, or you can just screw off for the rest of your life and I'll drop the suit. Your call. You know, I've done this and it improved my life tenfold, because to have that type of nattering person in my life it's a borderline criminal. I'm not signed up for that. I'm not dating this friend or this family member who's a brutal pain in the ass. I'm dating my woman. So I will use the courts to get rid of bad people from my life, because life is short. I'm going to be dead in 30 years. All right. I got 30 years left, Melanie. That's it. And when men hit their late 70s and early 80s, you know what happens? It's this. All right. It's not this, it's this. And that's going to suck. So for the last 5 years of the 30 I have left, I could conceivably be impotent. I'm going to enjoy my life now and get rid of everybody who's a negative influence. So the last thing I'll say here, and then our two gentlemen are going to come on. This happened to me once, and I'm bringing this up because it's a really good example. I had a great relationship with a gal, no names. And then she just met this weird friend that was always making her cry, because this weird friend had problems. Not my problem. I didn't do it. And it wasn't my woman's problem. And this chick whom I hated just kept hanging around more and more and more. And finally I said, you got to go. You get out of my house. Do not come back. And I don't want to see you again. So we, my woman and I, after I did this, had a trip planned to the town of Midland, Ontario, which is about 2.5 to 3 hours north of Toronto, but 4 hours north in the winter, just because of snow. And I got there first because I paid for the place. Everything's all set up. I've got the candles there. I got the bottle of wine that she liked. Everything's there. Who shows up? My woman and this pain in the ass loser. Why is this third party here? Why is this third wheel here? And I said, you can't come in this place. I'm paying for it. Oh, but she has to come in because we're in the middle of nowhere and it's in the cold. Should have thought of that. I did not invite her. I specifically said, don't bring her. So she insists, she whines, she cries, and the two of them, I thought, you know what? I've got the solution to this. Come on in. And the two of them were sitting on the couch. Yip. Had nothing to do with me. Didn't want her there. I thought, you know what? This woman that I'm with has zero respect for me whatsoever. So I'm going to put on my sweater, put on my jacket, grab my backpack. I went out the back window. Got in my car and left. I just left. I drove all the way back to Toronto, called my buddies up and said, you're not going to believe this one. Right? She did not notice that I was not there until 8 o'clock the next morning. That's when the phone call. Yeah. Tell me about it. There's someone who didn't give a crap about me. So that's when she starts filling up my voicemail. You're you got to come back and get me. No. We're done. I finally did answer the phone, and I never break up with women on the phone. I always did it in person. But I said, look, I told you I didn't want this person. I told you this person was bad for you and was going to cost you people in your life. Well, what do you mean? I said, well, she cost you me because we're done. And I hung up the phone, and that was the end of that relationship. So guys, stand proud. When your woman is screwing with you like this, then she has no respect for you. And the outside world's opinions mean more to her than you. Drift. Split. Get away from this person. Melanie, your thoughts, and then our guys are going to come in here and ask their questions.
Well, I think in that particular scenario, that's a great idea. As far as the family thing, though, goes, I don't know. I mean, you pull out the lawsuit thing on a family member that
I did.
yeah,
Twice. Two different relationships, twice.
that's
Right.
almost like, and that's why you're not with them anymore. Because I think a woman would find that narcissistic, and a woman would find that almost as like an ultimatum, and women don't like that. So
Right. And men don't like people coming in and wasting their time.
fair, but
No,
if you
no.
value the relationship instead of a lawsuit, I think that a dialogue and a compromise, you want to hang out with that person, keep it to a minimum because it's unhealthy for us, and see, like, give her an opportunity to honor that.
Okay.
And if she
Wait a
doesn't,
minute.
then
Hold on, Mel. It's almost like you're saying that I just went straight to that. No, no, no.
Oh,
There's
okay.
progression.
Oh,
There's
okay. You
progression.
did.
Like there's conversation,
Okay.
heated
Okay.
conversation, more heated conversation, frustration, anger,
Yeah.
and then I'm
Okay.
finally there, right?
Okay.
So
That's fair then. Yeah. That's
I
fair.
do my best to be diplomatic because I understand that women interpret even a face like that as some kind of assault. I get it. You ladies are not built for war. I understand.
Yeah.
But some people are just so horrible that you have to get rid of them.
Yeah. And I agree. It's hard to cut toxic people out of your life, but it's worth it.
Well,
So,
I mean, look how happy I am as a single guy, right? So I'm smiling.
right.
I got a lot of bad people out of my life. It's just how it is. All right. We have two gentlemen here in their mid to late 20s who have some questions. Gentlemen, thank you for being here tonight. We do appreciate that. Introduce yourselves, and I guess whichever one of you has a question, go ahead, start talking.
How's it going, Kevin Johnston?
Doing
This
well.
is here, and this is my friend Lynn. I guess
And
my
that's
first question.
Lynnne
Lynn.
and double N's. All right. So with the E, it's a
There's
chick's
no
name,
E.
and with no E, it's a guy's name. I get it.
I made sure it wasn't with an E.
All right. So, gentlemen, full disclosure, I've had a conversation with you on subject matter like this in the past. Perhaps we didn't have enough time to cover what's ailing you today. So, gentlemen, you're up.
All right. So my first question is, what do you do about women of today, especially for the younger generation, like between the ages of 18 and 26, 27? I did hear you talk about women in their 40s, and they're different. Obviously, they grew up in a different time. But what do you do about women of today?
Okay, Mel, I'll take this one first, and then you're up because I know I can tell the wood's burning. She's got something to say. The first thing is, guys, all men under 30, you've been browbeaten beyond belief by our society. Our society's beating you up. Women, not Melanie, but feminists have been telling you you're bad just because you have a penis. You're horrible. You white males especially are responsible for every war that ever happened. This is the rhetoric that we're hearing. And of course, that stuff is going to get to you guys. And unfortunately, a lot of young women under 30 are going to believe that because, well, media is powerful. So you're up against all of that. However, and this is the big however, and I have noticed this one with every young male who does take this advice, is the cultivation of your own garden. All right. I think I told you this before, and that is you're not going to catch any butterflies by running around with a net like an idiot. But if you foster a good garden in your backyard, the butterflies are coming, the fireflies are coming, the really hot chick down the street's coming to have a look at your garden. Everyone will flock to you. You have to make yourselves be the best possible masculine, hyper masculine man that you possibly can. This is going to be a matter of a lot of self-respect. You got to look in the mirror every single day, pound the hands down. You're a good looking guy, man. You have a lot of value here. Let's go take on that world. Whereas a lot of guys will look in the mirror, it's like, oh, I wish I had more muscles and I don't look good in this shirt anymore. Never whine, never complain, never once succumb to any particular depressive thought. This destroys men, especially young men. You guys got to do the positive stuff all the time. That is what gets the resonance to happen. When the chest is up and you got the smile on your face and the world knows you don't give a shit about anything, that's when those ladies come flocking because they want a piece of that. It's a mystery to them. Why is this guy so happy all the time? Why is this guy so cool? I got to figure this out. And they will. Melanie, your thoughts?
Well, this is interesting timing because I just had a conversation with a young lady who used to work for me. She's now in her mid-20s and she's still single, and she's stunning. So I said, what is up with that? And she said, you have no idea, Mel, what the struggle is out there. She said there is just like no quality guys my age. So I asked her, well, what do you want in a guy? And she wants someone who's got his goals set. He knows what he wants in life. She wants someone who's fun, the things that I would think that I was looking for when I was 20. She wants someone who's responsible, fun, attentive. I think that some women are more programmed than they'd like to admit as far as needing attention and validation nowadays. So that's a challenge. But I think for you guys, especially in your age group, my son is in 19, and yeah, it's a struggle for him too. You kind of really need to figure out, and your values will change as you get older, but figure out what your core values are right now, like what's most important. And I think that it's important to find someone who as close as possible matches that, and matches your energy. You want someone who kind of you can walk and stride with through your relationship. So, and that's not easy, like Kevin and I said, and I'm sure it's the same in your demographic, that there's a lot more quantity over quality out there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then I'd also add to that, Melanie, in that as men, we honestly need to stay goal driven, but your career is going to be number one. Your
Yes.
career will define you. You, the man, will be defined by what it is that you choose to do for a living, but also choose to do for a living better than the average could do it or will do it. If you are that kind of guy, then everything else that you do, you'll do at a heightened rate beyond what the average guy is going to do. You always have to be above average. And I crammed this crap down my son's throat until he was sick of hearing it. And then when he said, Dad, shut up, I'm sick of hearing it. Oh, yeah? Well, good. I'm going to say it again. And then I said it again. And I'm pretty sure you gentlemen have access to at least one or two masculine figures older than yourself who are going to reinforce that they trust in your skill set. They trust in you as people. You have to live off of that positive energy. Everything that women under 30 are going to say to you in the next little while is going to be hyper negative crap. And a lot of times they don't even know why they do it. So maybe cut them a bit of slack, but don't compromise you or your pursuit of that career. Women will flock to a guy who's proud of his career, because the guy who's proud of his career has the chest up. He's got the head up. He's smiling. He's on the phone making deals, and he's making deals without any concern whatsoever to what's going on around him. If you're the kind of guy who's cool enough to be making a business call and a car crash happens in front of you and you're saying, hey, Stevie, just a second here. Some guy just crashed into a guy. Hold on. Hey, buddy, you okay? Oh, yeah, he's fine. And you go right back to your business deal without giving a crap about the outside stimulus. Women are going to look at that and go, this guy is awesome. And I've heard this said to me, and I didn't know this at your age, by the way. So, I mean, I had to learn this crap the hard way. But that is what you need to be. Calm, cool, collected, no temper tantrums, career focused, goal focused, and not giving a shit. Pardon my French, but not caring one bit about the end result of what anyone else is going to say or think of you, period. The people you got to impress is you and the people that pay you for your skills and nobody else. Melanie?
Well, I wanted to also say that it's not necessarily about money. I think what women find attractive in a man that sets goals and achieves and attains some level of success is that he's confident and he's driven, and that is safe for women. That feels safe. So it's not necessarily a dollar figure. It's the strength that comes with a man having the kahunas
I concur with the dollar figure. It's not the dollar figure. It's the confidence. It's the it's her belief in your capacity to get done everything that needs to be done and protect her. That's how she'll see it.
Yeah.
So there we go.
And even though Kevin said find something and be good at it, but still always be authentic, be yourself no matter what, because you'll find the right woman that way.
Okay, I don't disagree with that either. That's actually good advice. Yeah. Lynn, sounds like you got something you got to get off your chest there.
Well, it's in the ballpark of the dollar figure, because all we hear from every source we can find is if you're not making over 300K a year, you're not a man. So there's already this stereotypical wall that's being built of irrational proportions.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fantasy land. I get it.
Yeah,
These chicks live in fantasy land.
Wow, that's
Hey, you
disappointing
guys
as a
want to know how to
woman.
count? Yeah, sorry, Mel. You want to know how to counter that nonsense? Just you sit back and you say to her, I make $10,000 a year. No, I just lied to you. I make 73 plus bonuses. Throw a low number at her and then give her a different number. But until she's earned your respect, until you know who she is, what you make is none of her business. And I mean zero. Doesn't matter what you make at that point. She's got to earn something in you. If she's going to be burning up your time and taking you away from poker night with the guys or the hockey game or taking you away from the gym or taking you away from the overtime at work, she's got to be worth it. So you boys need to agree with yourself and yourselves only what your value is and invite her in. You don't beg her to come, you invite her. If she doesn't want the invitation, dust her, move on to the next one. This is all a matter of you guys need to be proud of who you are and what you've achieved. And if you're saying to yourself, I only make 50K a year. No. It's I make 50K a year. And next year it'll be 57. Next year after that, it'll be 75 because you're setting goals. Her opinion, until she's your woman and you are responsible for her protection, her opinions should mean nothing to you. Period. Lynn, does that answer? Oh, sorry. No, Melanie's got something on this. Go ahead, Mel.
Oh, I was just going to say, I'm as a woman, I'm disappointed that to keep hearing this. I never thought, like, even my checklist when I was young, my checklist was I never had a monetary value attached to what my man should earn. That just blows my mind, and it's so superficial and it's so disappointing. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of, like I said earlier, a lot of really good guys slip through the cracks because of this. And women, smarten up, because you're probably missing out on some quality men that have some great qualities that you would find very appealing, and only because they're not meeting that one box that you want checked off. And I feel like some of these women are going to wait a very, very long time to find that, if they ever find it.
Well, I agree with that. The other thing, gentlemen, and this is where we as men, unfortunately, we kind of get the raw end, the shit end of the stick, as they call it, is that a lot of times women they're going to insult us in many different ways. You guys have to just walk away. You don't even have to say, yeah, whatever. Like, you're missing out, man. Just walk away. It's fine. And the best example I can give, and I think this is hilarious. I've said this before, but I went on that stupid speed dating crap. And I sat down at the table, and the first thing out of her mouth is, I like a man who's got 8 inches with girth. Okay, that ain't me. See ya. I just got up and walked away. I'm glad she said that, because I didn't waste the 5 minutes of my life talking to her about the potential of seeing me naked, when I don't have, I'm 7 inches short, right? So don't take offense to it. That's what I'm getting at. These young gals out there, they will be callous. They'll be cold. They'll be cruel. They will do everything that they can to break your spirit and crush your ego. You cannot care about anything that comes out of their mouths, positive or negative, especially negative, because you gentlemen have decided for yourselves, I hope you have, who you are and what your value is. And if some broad doesn't see that, well, too bad for her. You need not engage emotionally in any way, nor say anything. Just turn and walk. Because I'll tell you this, when you don't engage and when you don't play the game of, oh yeah, well, you've crushed her, because she wants that reaction. Not giving it to her is worse to a woman than getting a punch in the face. Melanie, you're up.
Well, I was just going to say, if having a family one day and having kids is important, then I guess, you definitely want to find someone in your demographic and someone young enough to do that with. But if that's not something you want, I try dating older women.
Well, see, that's the problem, because I did want a family, but then it's like the options of a good choice in the second half of the family is, I don't like buying those $1 scratch tickets and losing bucks.
Okay, but I got to correct you on something you said there, Lynn. You said you did want a family, past tense. So it sounds to me like there's no longer a goal. Now, if your goal is to have kids, then you better start working towards that goal. But that goal's got to stay in your head, and never again, if you want kids now, you can never again state that you past tense wanted children, but you've given up, because essentially with what you said there, you've quit. Now, I'm not going to ask you if you want kids and put you on the spot here. I'm going to ask you to talk to yourself and figure out, do you want kids? If the answer is yes, then you better damn well get goal driven. And the goal driven is not going to be, I'm going to go to the bars and hunt down tail. That's not what we're doing here. It's going to be, you are going to ramp up everything about you. You know, more hours at work, upgrade your skills, get prouder about who you are and what you do. Now, if that means going to the gym or going to the gun range or going to more seminars, whatever you need to do to improve you, they will flock to you because you've elevated yourself. Your confidence level is going to be higher. Your self-pride is going to be higher. And women,
it's got a cool look. It's got a cool look going on. So there's that.
Yeah, the long hair looks good. I didn't pull it off that well. Yeah.
Nobody my age will say something like that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like,
I dressed up for Tom Petty as Tom Petty for Halloween, and everybody was asking if I was Willy Wonka. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm Willy Wonka. Like,
I suppose Tom Petty's been dead for a year or two. I don't maybe necessarily think that 24-year-old girls are going to catch that.
Your generation's in trouble. You guys are refreshing.
They should know.
See, I was Jack Sparrow for Halloween, and nobody really cared about that. Like, I did really well, I thought, of my costume.
All the boys thought.
All the boys was like, "Yo, dude, this is awesome!" But
I'll say though, I got to say something in the ladies' defense on your costume, because I saw your costume, and for a second there, I thought, "Oh yeah, Captain Morgan's rum." That's the first thing I thought. And I was corrected
that's fair.
by a third party. So, I mean, the costume was good, but I made I actually referred to a cultural reference that's 25 years ahead of you. Captain Morgan rum was all the rage back in the day, and actors used to come out and play Captain Morgan in bars all over Toronto. So I'm hitting it from a different angle. Much like I'm pretty sure you guys have no clue what Howdy Doody is, the puppet show that I used to watch as a kid. Okay, so you know.
Wow.
But if I said Howdy Doody to someone who's 20 years old, and there's no reason why they would know it. Much like when a 20-year-old says, "Hey, have you seen this meme about this guy who eats this stuff on this show?" No, and I don't think I'm interested, you know. So we cannot, as men, take offense to anything. We just cannot. You know, even if a chick wants to say crazy stuff like, "Oh man, yeah," crazy things. Whenever you break up with girls, especially in their 20s, the first thing they attack is your genitals. Yeah, the last 4 boyfriends I had before you had bigger dicks. You know, you got to take it. All right, they don't mean it, but you got to take it. Not be offended, not react emotionally, and continue down the pathway of improving you, because they will sniff it out. And they will follow. Women will always follow a strong, masculine man who leads himself first and everybody else secondary. Melanie, you're up.
Women should follow a strong, masculine man. However, in their generation, sadly, not all of them are going to. So I feel like you guys, honestly, you have the biggest challenge I think any generation of young adults has ever had, ever in the history of forever. It's gonna be an interesting next decade for sure for your generation.
Yes. I something here, Melanie, I gotta say something, and guys, you might like this, is many times, especially when I was growing past my 20s and coming into my 30s and late 30s, is friends of mine who were women, they were in their 30s, and they'd call me up, like just crying. And of course, you know, we're men, like we hold the phone out like this, thinking, what? All right. So I had more than 12 women that I knew crying to me about, I thought I would be married. I thought I would have kids, and all my friends are married and they've got kids, and my clock is ticking and I'm getting fat. So guys, revel in this. All right. When these bitches in their 20s, and some of them are, not all, some, when they hit their early 30s and they're alone, but their friends are married and have kids and so on, They're going to bawl their eyes out. They're going to cry. They're going to be eating ice cream and it's dripping down their shirts and it's all over the place. Like, they do this. So you gentlemen here, I don't want you knowing this for revenge sake, but I want you to understand that women in their 20s right now, they're all going down a very dark pathway. You don't have to go down that pathway with them. Not at all. You boys need to work on you. Be the best goddamn you that you can possibly be. Because, and this is a speech that was given to me, so I'm going to give it to you, is back in the 1900s, like 1905, 1910, 1918, and so on. All you needed to be a millionaire or successful in life in general was just to have a better education than the next guy in line. That's it. Because education was not readily available to anyone back then. But now, all of you have access to information that even doctors in the 1920s and 1940s and 50s didn't have. You know, my training in first aid goes above and beyond surgeons of the 1800s. So we all have access to this information. Having a higher education than the average guy means jack these days. It's all now entirely up to you, the individual man, to be better than the average. Now, I'll make a comment here, ladies, and I think you're going to like this, ladies. You gentlemen are up against the weakest batch of beta cuck epsilon omega losers on the fucking planet. And I hate to swear like that, but I am so disappointed in males in general. The Antifa losers, the Black Lives Matter losers, the male feminists out there, the young males that are out there telling me that I'm a bad guy because I compliment women on this show and my other show. I'm a bad guy because I say that I want a woman who's 36, 24, 36, and I don't want a woman who's obese. They're telling me I'm a bad guy. All right. That's what you're up against. You're up against beta cucks that'll be the bitch of whatever woman that they meet. Like they'll marry the first woman that sleeps with them and they'll be miserable forever. They'll achieve nothing in this lifetime. And that leaves you two gentlemen to now be better than them, not by a little, but by a lot. And I would focus the two of you on being in the top 10 skill-wise, the top 10 confidence-wise, the top 10 public speaking-wise, and the top 10 in just holding up your head above all those other beta cucks that are really not competition for you. And what'll happen here is if you guys take my advice, you'll be so far above the average that women will flock like doing like the Roadrunner does in the cartoons because they haven't seen it before. And the example I'm going to give, and I'm going to get a bit rude here, is when I was running for mayor of Calgary, my podcast was #1 in Canada. Women were throwing it at me, like because they said I said I came to Calgary as an obnoxious but confident and boisterous guy saying I'm Calgary mayor-elect. I got the #1 podcast in the country. I'm the country's best looking guy. Women don't hear men talk like that. So they flock to me. And I've got women who just taken their clothes off for me because they perceived my behavior as power. That's how they saw it. And I had to say like, whoa, geez, you know, I love it. Thank you, ladies. But yeah, I'm running a campaign here. Right. And so when you are being seduced as such, you can't just fall for it. You can't just say, yeah, pants off. Yeah. You can't. You got to be cool and calm and collected about it. You guys have an opportunity here to have really high quality women, but you got to make sure that you are high quality men, not for women's sake, for your own sake. Melanie, you're up.
Yeah, no, you couldn't have said it better. Yeah, because what you are is what you attract. So yeah, I think you guys have potential. It just might take a while to sift through the trash to find the good stuff. So
yes, but my understanding is the two of you are highly skilled tradesmen. Do I have that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Christian, what do you do?
I'm pretty well labor management for Covers Express for one side of it. He is my helper and he's done extraordinarily well. I do that. I do private business as well for other clients.
Okay, and you're doing this before 30 years of age.
That's great.
Yes,
yeah.
and also I'm trying to get into the music industry. I'm a music producer. I'm a sound equipment tech, and I'm an audio engineer as a hobby. So I'm trying to get that going too.
Okay.
But for now, I have to focus my time on the trades because that's paying most of my bills right now.
Okay.
And then
So
on my spare time, yeah.
you gentlemen are good with your hands. Now, Lord knows how many times I've been asked this question by women I'm macking on and trying to score. Hey, are you handy? Because my stove's not working. I'm thinking, damn it, if I could fix that stove, I'm getting some for the next month. All right. I'm not mechanically inclined. I'm a negotiator, obviously public speaker, and so on. My skill set is still liked by women, but I'm not able to fix their problems for them unless, of course, they are legal issues. You gentlemen walk in saying, yeah, I got this. Your lights don't work. Give me an hour. You know, get their lights working. And then say to them, listen, sweetheart, you're making me dinner. And get started. You guys can talk like that. Melanie's seen me talk to women this way now. It's not disrespectful.
I don't condone it, though. No, I don't.
I know you don't condone it. But what I'm getting at here is I'm not going to beg and say, you know, could you like maybe cook me a dinner? No, no. You're making me dinner. Get it done, please. I'll get my job done. You get your job done. There's positively nothing wrong with being a confident man. And Melanie,
that's not confidence. That's dickish. You can't just say
not at all. It's not dickish at all because you're getting it done. All right. I say this all the time. No, here's a simple example. I have to meet my ex-wife tomorrow morning. I got to meet her at a friggin' coffee shop at 5:30 a.m. But it's for my kids, so I do it. And I said to her flat out, I'll do this. I don't want to. I'll do this. Breakfast is on you. That's it. It's a contract. She agreed. I agreed. I will go there unbegrudgingly. And I know it's only a $5 sandwich. That's not the point. The point of it is that I'm dictating terms on how I'm going to live my life and how my time is going to be used when someone's demanding my time at 5:30 a.m. And you gentlemen have the right to do the same thing. I've said this before, Melanie, and I'm not insulting women. I love you ladies. I do. But I can't go to a woman and say, here's a choice of two things because your brains get frazzled. I don't say to a woman, hey, would you like to go on dinner with me? Because she has an option. It's yes or no. And it's like, well, he's kind of cute, but I don't like his car. His shoes suck, but he's got a cool coat. His friend's a jerk. Like this is all these things get buzzing in their heads. No. We don't ask. Tell you what, I'm buying you dinner Saturday, 7 p.m. I'm picking you up at 6:30. Be ready. Smile.
Okay, my advice is don't take Kevin's advice fully. My advice is say, I'm taking you for dinner. Is Friday or Saturday better? Give her a choice, but you're still going to get the dinner.
Are you serious, Melanie?
Yes.
Well, what if they're not available Friday?
But well, give her a choice. What if she's not available Saturday and you're like, yeah, I'm taking you for dinner. And if you can't go, then screw off. Yes, that's a little too strong.
You know what a real woman would say? This is where I have to disagree with you, Melanie. A real woman would say this. I can't Saturday because. And if the reason's a good one, listen to her, guys. But can we do lunch Sunday? Now you've got a woman who's interested in you. That is a woman that you say, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to shovel my calendar for you, but only because it's you. So you guys got to play it up. You got to be cool. You got to be nice, but cool at the same time. And there's nothing wrong with this because now the two of you are in a negotiation where she's actually interacting with you. Exactly opposite the crap I was actually going to show on my phone tonight. These stupid friggin' Tinder replies. Hi, what's up? Hello.
Oh, apparently
I'll say something. I'll type something interesting, and I get a response like, "Oh, that's nice."
They've clearly had some Tinder experience because, I saw you both fall back on the couch at the same time.
This is what we put up with as men, and that's why I'm saying that a real woman who's actually interested in we men will make that compromise, but she'll do it on her own with just a little bit of confidence. Guys, here's a prime example. When I first met my wife, this is 23 years ago. We had a breakfast plan to get together at 8:00 in the morning, breakfast and go for a hike. However, her father was also in cancer treatments. She made a phone call to me at 7 in the morning. I'm sorry, I've got to go to the hospital and deal with my dad. And the nurses will be taking over at 1. How about we do lunch at 3? Yes. No problem at all. She told me the truth, and she rectified the fact that I was not going to get her time in the morning. I got her time in the afternoon. A real woman, Melanie, will do that. And we men need to then show our appreciation for a woman who will say, I can't, but I will at this future time. So I absolutely accommodated that. And I thanked her very much for making an alternate suggestion, which I was then responsible for making work. Maybe the boy should take Kevin's advice. Melanie?
Well, I'm just saying, be assertive but not aggressive.
Okay,
Assertive.
so don't be an asshole, but be assertive.
Mhm.
All right,
Yeah, confident and assertive, but
there we go.
not.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that, and I don't disagree at all. There we go. We just,
Okay.
I can't believe this. A man and a woman made a compromise on like a live show. That's never happened before.
That's a good thing.
Wow, holy smoke, man. Call Guinness.
Oh,
All right, gentlemen, anything else you'd like to know?
Okay, so I believe that me and him are both high value men. We have stuff going for us. We have goals. We have ambitions, and it's still extremely tough. Like for me on Tinder, 30 likes a day. For him, probably about the same. And I get maybe the high. I text maybe 15 of them, give or take. Nothing, 0. Nothing from it.
Okay.
And is this just more of like, is this going to take some time or what? Because just recently I've been starting to work on, finding somebody myself. I took a year off and just worked on myself, built my income, got better at whatever I was doing.
Okay.
And yeah, so it's just like, it's almost, it seems impossible now, like, and yeah, again, this is between the ages of 20 and 26. So.
Okay. So
And if
I
you
feel
want-
your pain on that. I'm just going to reflect on that one very quickly here. I'd like to show the stuff on my Tinder account here because what you're describing, I'm putting up with myself. All right.
Okay.
You got to see the funny side in this whole thing. I've got a woman here. She's super cute, awesome body, works out a lot, and she's got lots of ass, which is a good thing. All right. But she keeps telling me that she's been screwed over before and she wants to make sure I'm not a bot. And she doesn't want to give her phone number out. I said, fine, here's mine. No worries. Give me a call. Hasn't done it. I said, go to a payphone. Use Skype. All right, there you go. And then she says to me that, well, she's still not comfortable with it. I said, all right, because I'm not going to let her get away with this. All right. I've always got an alternate solution. So I said in the text here, ask me 3 questions. I'll set up my microphone. I'll answer all 3 in an MP3 file, and I will email it to you. But I don't want to give out my personal email address. No problem, I said. Go to Hotmail and create a brand new account with a fake name. Even John Smith is fine, and I'll send it there, and then you'll know I'm real. Well, I'm still not comfortable with it. I just want to talk here. Okay, so I've done my part. I've given up. I'm done. All right. So that one blocked. Right. But you got to see the funny in it. It's funny that an adult woman, 51 years of age, is that pathetic.
Still
She
does
has,
that,
she has 500 excuses why she should fail. Now, it's good that I get rid of a person like this because this is someone that'll piss me off every day. I'll say something, she'll argue with me. I'm sure of it. I'll say, hey, you look good today. She'll say something stupid like, I don't know, I'm ugly. I'm a little too fat. Like, I don't have time for that shit. I really don't. And I don't think you guys do either. So if you're not getting anywhere with these specific Tinder babes, broads, chicks, whatever you want to call them, they're not the right ones for you anyway. Like, they're really not. Melanie, I think you've got something to say on that.
Well, I'm just wondering if you don't have to just cut right to the chase in the conversations, because I think that might save you some time, and the girls that actually engage probably you'd be more inclined to continue talking to, and the ones that don't, just skid them.
Yeah, just turf them. I mean, there's nothing wrong with telling the truth, saying that
your time's valuable, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, coming right out and saying something on the lines of, just for the record, and with a smiley face, I only tolerate 7 messages back and forth before we talk on the phone. If you're not cool with that, just tell me to F off. Like, just say something funny as such. You probably may not get a reply, but a woman like that is too stupid or gutless to have a serious relationship with a successful guy anyway. So you're actually kind of, I know you're getting depressed because it's a bit of effort, but these women aren't worth chasing. If they can't do the simple courtesy of saying something to you when you're presenting yourself as available to talk, well, what's the point? Useless. Skip. Mel?
Well, I'm just thinking I need to introduce them to my work daughter there, because she's a little cutie, but
Okay, hold on. Wait. I gotta say something. Is she a cute? Is this girl you're talking about cute the way a man would see cute or the way a woman would see cute? Because remember
she's
the
a little,
first.
okay. She's a bit curvy, but she's really stunning. Like, she's long dark hair, beautiful smile. Like, and her personality, she's career driven. She's fun. She's active. She actually works 2 jobs. She's working at a school right now, and at a bar on the weekends. She's working at a brewery on the weekends.
Any feminist tendencies?
Not really. She's really brought up in a conservative household, and yeah, she's quite. I'd say 70% awake. So we've got some work to do, but
Okay, well, in your 20s, you're supposed to be 70% away from everything, really. So that's fine.
Yeah.
It's a matter of decency. It's a matter of good upbringing. It really is. And it's a
Right.
matter of someone who stays away from the radical leftist feminist tripe out there. And if you've got all 3, then all right, you've got yourself a candidate to start spending some time talking to them.
Yeah.
All right, there we are. Lynn, I think you had a question.
It's not as much of a question as if if the Tinder is starting to become a waste of time and all the dating apps and everything, where do you go if it's not a bar now? Perfect. You go to the bar now, you just go and play pool with all the old guys.
Right.
Yeah, that it actually has. You're right.
I do on a regular basis, but I'm going to play pool. I'm not going to meet somebody because there's nobody there.
Okay. Yeah. Here's something I learned. Melanie, I have to say this. I mean, you friggin' ladies with this dancing crap. You always want to dance all the time. Like, men don't like doing it. But guys, if you can sing or you can dance or you can speak publicly, you're in. So as much as I hate dancing, I decided to start taking dancing lessons, and all of a sudden chicks are flocking again. I don't know what it is with women and dancing. I went to this place called Wrenchman's in Calgary. Everyone knows it. It's the meat market of town. It's this amazing bar. It's something like 10,000 square feet. It's built like an old saloon. The lighting is good. The sound is great. And Alberta's got a lot of really fit, good-looking ladies compared to Ontario. Let me tell you that. Right? So there are more thin women here than there are in Ontario. I was there in the summertime, and this big party they had. I think it was Stampede. That's right, Calgary Stampede. I go in with my son, no cover. A bunch of women walked in right behind us, cover. I asked the guy, so what's the deal here? Like, isn't it supposed to be men that pay cover? Isn't it the men who are horny? He says, no, we got the same problem every year. We have twice the number of single women as guys. And most of the guys here aren't interested in women because they're married or otherwise. I'm thinking, mind blowing, really? And then, gentlemen, this was also confirmed by a dating service where the dating service owner does the actual research for you, and it's done manually. It's not a computer matching you up. And this woman was in her early 70s, and she was saying she couldn't get single men to join. She had, like 2 to 3 times the number of women as men, and men just don't seem to give a crap about dating. So, guys, this seems to be the norm, especially here in Alberta and in Western Canada. Is there just not enough eager, masculine men ready to take the step to go dance with, speak to, hang out with these women? And these women are just desperate for a man to be around. I think you guys need to change up a little bit of what you do in your personal time, and you'll see that you'll get a different result. Because if you do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result, that is the dictionary definition of insanity, period. If you do what you've always done, you get what you've always got. Melanie, you're up.
Can I just ask what part of the province you guys are in?
Southern Calgary.
Okay. Because I've got some young friends that have some great social media platforms, and I know they often will kind of organize these sort of mixed socials, and it's like university age gang, and they're actually pretty cool people, and you should find them on social media. Maybe there'd be an opportunity to connect with some more people your age that are like-minded, and they're called YEG United, YEG United.
United.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. There's
Yeah,
some, there's
they're pretty
actually some
cool.
pretty smart kids in that group.
Yep,
I
very much
actually
so.
interviewed them 2 weeks ago, didn't I? Yeah, I
You
did.
did? You have them
I
on your
did.
show, yeah.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, and there's a lot of girls in that group who are conservative and they're under 25 years of age.
And cute.
You guys being in your
Cute.
mid-20s, I guess between 20 and 30 is pretty good.
Mhm.
No?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah. I mean, for one, when I was your age, I was chasing 30 and up. But, yeah. Sorry?
If we're back onto that family train of thought, that is.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
Yeah.
That's
If
kind
you
of the
gentlemen
end goal.
are thinking family, I would suggest a lady who's a couple of years younger, not 10, that's stupid, but I mean, a couple of years younger. You definitely want that. I mean, not that I'm trying to insult women, but your biological clock does have an expiration date.
It's true.
Your eggs go bad and we can no longer fry them up. So we want to make sure you're involved with a gal that when you finally decide, yes, we're going to have kids after you've had some fun together, she's a bit younger than you are so that it's feasible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because women who get pregnant in their late 30s, early 40s have a risk of Down syndrome and birth defects. Usually its intelligence levels are dropping at older ages. Now, that sucks, ladies. I get it. I feel horrible for it that you can't have kids till the day you die. Men can, you can't. That's unfair. And I had nothing to do with that in the DNA strand, the writing of it. But let's just call things what they are. The other thing I would highly recommend, gentlemen, is when it's time for you to settle down with one specific good lady, you got to stay away from the single moms. All right. And I say this because white guys, let's just call it what it is, man. White guys don't like raising other men's kids. Black guys don't care. They always expect a chick to have kids. White guys, we do care. And as a coach of youth sports, I thoroughly enjoy my time coaching kids, but I got to go home. And when I go home, I want to be with my woman and my offspring. Right? I'm going to sound rude here. I don't want to raise some other guy's cum shot. Okay. I just don't. I want my own. And I tell you, like, the amount of love that I feel for my children is unbelievable. Even the son of mine who died, it's nothing but pure love that I feel. I'll never feel that for someone else's child because I can't. I'm not connected to them. They're not my biology. They're not my lineage. They're not my children. Also, and I get in trouble for this one all the time, guys, is that single moms are single for a reason. Yes, the guy could be a deadbeat. So could she. And they're never going to be honest about the things that they do wrong because, Melanie, most women are not accountable. They don't want to be accountable for their belief structures or their bad behavior or their rotten dispositions or their bad decisions. They don't. They want to blame someone else. I mean, my dad was a jerk, so I got knocked up by 4 guys. I've heard this crap. Right? So I highly recommend, especially you guys being under 30, have your own family. Have your own children. Bond with them on day number 1. Love them as best you can. Because as much as we would like to, and we would like to as men, that's what we want to do, we're never going to love our stepkids. It's not possible. Not like we would love our own. Melanie, go ahead.
I would disagree. I think most times, it's hard to love someone else's kid as much as you love your own, but I've seen people do it and I've seen people step up and it's pretty great when it happens. So I'd say don't totally rule it out, but yeah, it's less complicated for sure if you can find a gal with no kids. But
yes, and you're not wrong, Melanie. There are people that do this. They bond with their stepkids, something fierce, and the relationship goes on forever. It's just not as common as we would all like it to be. No, and I would like it to be common, but it's not. So I'm not saying that single moms are bad, but I am saying that they got involved in a relationship and it failed. Not necessarily just because the guy didn't want to be around a kid. When you start digging, you'll find out, oh, okay, so she said this and she did that.
Yeah.
Like, do you want to go through that headache? Do you really want to go through that headache, or would you rather start fresh? Being under 30 as you are, I'll leave that to you to decide. I'm just giving you advice that I know. Not my place to tell you what to do.
Yeah, same here.
I already went through a single mom for a little bit there, and it was not good. It's like maybe like a 1 month kind of a thing, but it was just horrible.
It's challenging.
Yeah. Well, it is challenging, and I'll just tell the truth here. The lady I married 23 years ago, she had already had a kid. He was 11 at the time, and his father made a stupid comment to me one day saying that he should be the one to be with my wife and not me. And I said, well, you kind of had that chance, and you've screwed up 12 years earlier. So too bad for you. You're not a good guy. You're not a good fit. And you might not want to say that to me again. So what he did was he encouraged his kid to misbehave in my house. And I'm a man. I put up with it for as long as I could take it. And I finally made a phone call to him saying, get your ass over here and get your kid, because otherwise I'm going to take him over to the fire station and drop him off, and you can deal with that. I had enough. And as soon as I did that, this weight was off my shoulders. All of a sudden, I felt like a human being again. I wasn't aggravated all the time. Obviously, this put a bit of a strain on our relationship for a short while. But I'm telling you guys, it's not easy. You do have options, though. As men, you still have options. It's up to you to decide for yourselves how much crap you want to put up with. And you also have to weigh out, is the amount of crap I'm putting up with going to be of benefit to me? Will I make money on the amount of crap I'm putting up with? Will it cost me money? Will this shorten my lifespan? Will this drive me to drink? These are very serious questions you got to ask yourself when one or two different people in your lives are polluting your lives with bullshit. But again, I can't tell you what to do. It's just something to think about. Melanie?
Yep. No, I think we've covered it. I think these are two really great prospects as far as young men go. So,
okay. So ladies, hardworking, highly skilled. They've got a bit of money here. They make some decent money here, and they're eager to meet a decent woman, and they're eager to treat her like a goddess. So all you stupid feminist idiots out there, trust me, you don't get better. Right. So think about it, gentlemen. If you'd like us to, I can post on my blog here about single guys. It's something I hadn't considered before, but hey, I can help a nigga out, as they say, right? You'll have to let me know that. I mean, just send me an email. You've got my contact info here. We're over time. Any last comments or questions you gentlemen have? Got to make them short.
I think it's okay for me. You've answered the questions I had, and you had some good advice. So
absolutely, it's been a great discussion.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, gentlemen, for being here. I do greatly appreciate that. It was wonderful to chat with you both.
Yeah, I wish you guys the best of luck.
It's great. Yes.
All right, gentlemen, have a great night. Take care.
All right. See ya.
Well, there we go, Melanie. So not all is lost. All right. And all the ladies out there, where have all the good men gone? Well, you're not paying attention. You're not looking. All right. That's it. You're just not looking. You're
we
too
just
busy.
had two of them right there. Yeah.
Yeah. No, look, you ladies are too busy trying to party. And a lot of you ladies out there who waste your time with all this partying, you don't seem to realize that A, you're not very good at it. B, it's incredibly unbecoming. And C, you're in your own way. It's the same thing about drinking. I tell guys, don't drink, because it strips you. It takes away life. It stops you from being your best. It might even take you down to less than half of what you could possibly be without it. So if young ladies out there do want a decent man, then stop going to nightclubs with 8 other women and forming a circle on the dance floor with the tightest skirts you can possibly muster, and putting all your purses and drinks in the middle, and then dancing around horribly, I might add, and then shunning and insulting every man who comes over to dance with you. That's what you do. I've seen this, and it's still happening today. So you gals want to meet men? Don't go with a bunch of women, because no man these days is going to approach you if you're with a group of women. It's just not going to happen. You know why? Because we know what's going to happen as men. We know one of the is going to say, get lost, creep, or they'll be jealous that you didn't pick them. and find some way to sabotage the evening. Don't go picking up men in groups. You're going to fail. Melanie, last words. Go ahead.
Well, women don't want to go out alone. So are you recommending go
A
out
group
in
of two?
pairs? Yeah.
A group of
Yeah.
2
Yeah.
tops. If you're looking to meet men, 3 or
I
more.
do think that that's a
forbid.
good number because you're far more approachable in pairs for sure.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes. Also, I mean, ladies, if you want men to notice you, you got to make some eye contact. You know, you see a guy who's cute or whatnot, or he looks good in a hat, you like his jeans, whatever, make some eye contact. There's
Yeah.
positively nothing wrong with advertising, I'm available. You're not a slut or a whore for doing so.
That's right.
And then you got these stupid ideas women put in their heads. I'm a slut because I do this. No. You're available. You're shopping for a mate. But if you're shopping for a mate, damn it, that mate needs to know you are. Right? So if you're there with your partner or your female friend and the two of you are talking, it's got to be smiles. Don't put serious expressions on your faces, because a guy will see two women having an intense conversation. All right, no, they're busy. I'm not going to bother them. He will just pass you by, but you're smiling. Al, can you ladies maybe say hi? Is that something that you can do? Because you don't. You're there complaining about men aren't approaching you. You're in large groups, you're not making eye contact, and you're not talking. Well, how the hell do you expect this to happen? Melanie?
Yeah, no, that is you said enough. Yeah, we need to make eye contact and smile, and starting the conversation is okay, ladies. So if you're out there and you're looking,
it is, because here's something I've learned about Alberta women. They really do take care of themselves physically. They look good in Alberta. Like Toronto, they all look like things in the zoo, but here they look like women. And it's amazing how many women are spending $15,000 to $20,000 on really, really good boob jobs. Like, I mean, good ones, and they're deliberately, after you get these boob jobs done, they're going into bars and they've got these super tight shirts on. So the billboard is turned on. They're advertising, but they're not doing the most fundamentally important thing. Smile, talk. They're not doing that. And until you ladies start doing that, it doesn't matter how much money you spend on your fake tits. You guys aren't showing up. They're not approaching you. And that's the truth. So God bless you for looking good, but you got 2 more things to do: smile and actually talk to men. Never mind. Never mind putting on the dog show. Right? Don't stand there, look good, and not say something. All right, Melanie, listen, as always, an extreme pleasure to see you again. Love chatting with you. Do you have any final comments before we go?
It's been fun. No, I just want to say happy dating, everyone, and we'll see if we can't find some more cool stories for next week.
Oh, there's lots. Yeah, there's lots. Sorry. Trasman's asking me if I'm dating someone these days. I don't think so. I hang out with some really cool ladies out there. But no one has designated themselves my partner. But at the same time, if you want to be my permanent partner, there are some things you got to do. And I've covered this before, and I'll say it again. My libido is off the charts because my testosterone's off the charts. And if you're not going to, do me every day, we're not compatible. So like we can be cool with each other, but we're not a couple. So no, I'm not, I do not have a girlfriend or a wife or a lover, or what do you call those? What other terms are there? I don't know. A squeeze. Right. I don't know, man. I'm just too busy enjoying life. All right. I've always got a smile on my face, and I'm always happy to spend time with really good people. So what I'll say on that one is there are some amazing women that I have in my life, and I'm blessed for it. I am. And I'm very happy to see them, speak with them, text them, email them, crack jokes with them, talk philosophy with them, play darts with them, and so on. There we are. Done. Yeah. Enjoy life to the fullest, guys, because it's very short.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Melanie, thank you for being here. And thank you to everyone for being here. I want to thank our 2 guests for showing up today. It's always it's always fun for me to impart a little bit of wisdom on those who are out there. At the same time, I really am doing this for the rightest reasons possible. I know that some of you gals out there think I'm cutting women up. I'm not. I want all of us to get along better because I'd like to see more people together more often and making more babies. Because the world's population is less than 6 billion now. We got to repopulate fast. Get out there and make some. Good night, Melanie, and good night to everybody. I love you all. We'll see you next week.
Good night.